Hello and welcome back to another episode of Chrono Royals. Today we're diving into a narrative that keeps on popping up in the royal commentary world. The supposed tension between King Charles and Prince William, the Prince of Wales. I'm sure you've heard about it, I'm sure you've seen it, and if you haven't, then pay attention. Because you see, Richard Eden and others have painted it as if Charles fears William, or that there is a palace plot to undermine the heir. But is that really what's happening? What's going on between these palace walls and behind the closed doors, behind the gates? What is going on? And why is this narrative somehow making headlines, and why is it getting traction amongst public viewers or royal watchers and royal fans? What's going on really? I've seen so many divided comments in the comment sections on so many different various platforms. So I've decided to, take a step back and take a look at this from a Chrono Royals perspective. So if you're ready, go ahead and sit back and relax. Let's get into this topic. Before we even get into today's big topic of King Charles, Prince William, and all of these so-called plots the media keeps spinning, I want to tell you where I'm coming from, because this is going to be very important. You see, the way I interpret these headlines isn't just random opinion. It comes from how I grew up, how I learned to see the media, and how life has taught me to stop taking everything at face value. You see, I grew up in an era where technology wasn't like today. No social media, no endless Twitter feeds or threads, no endless TikTok videos, or there wasn't even YouTube or any of these technologies back in the days. Back then, if something was printed in the newspaper, or if the news anchor said it on TV, you didn't question it. You just believed it. That was the truth. That was the only truth. The written word carried weight, right? I was raised to think that if it was written in a magazine, if it was reported on the news, then it had to be a fact. Because why would they print it otherwise, right? Why would they air it on TV, on national TV otherwise? We never questioned the media back then. I never remembered my parents questioning the media or saying, this is fake news. No, news was news, period. But here's what life has taught me. That blind trust was a mistake. Because in reality, the media, whether it's tabloid or a so-called reputable paper or a TV station, has always had an angle. Always. Some are more liberal, some are more conservative, and some are just more sensational. But they all spin. So now in the 21st century, in this new millennium, in this new era of technology, of freedom of expression, freedom of speech, I know one thing for sure. I cannot trust everything I read. None of us should, as a matter of fact. Because yes, we have more tools to research things for ourselves, to think critically. But at the same time, I also see that a lot of people have stopped doing that. Instead of thinking for themselves, They allow themselves to follow influencers with big platforms under the pretense that they have a huge following, okay? They believe whatever trend is the loudest. Common sense has been lost in the noise, and that is so sad to say, but it is true. People don't even read full articles anymore. They don't analyze articles, or they don't analyze what they read or what they see. They stop at the headline. The bigger the headline, the more the headline is sensational, then that's it. They just go with it. They run with it. And when they do read an article, they don't even understand what they're reading because they're in that pre-programmed mode, which is believe everything that is printed, believe everything that is said to you, don't question it. So in other words, they're asleep. They're dormant. People are dormant. People are asleep, and they're not critically thinking what they see. They don't question what they see, and they just go along with the crowd like a bunch of sheeps, a bunch of little lambs, you know? So when I read these articles about King Charles supposedly plotting against Prince William, my gut tells me, nah, that's not what's happening. That's the media doing what the media does best, inventing drama because they need a story to sell. They need to make money. Have you ever noticed how on the news, it's always bad news? There's never good news to talk about. You never hear news anchor report about someone performing a random act of kindness. You never hear about, you know, your community heroes that do good deeds within their cities, their communities, their neighborhoods. You never hear about how people love one another and compliment one another. No, the only things people report is bad news, chaos, you know, crimes, all that stuff. So here's already a big flag for you. So anytime you see an article, don't stop just at the headline. You got to read the whole thing. And when you read the whole thing, question it. What is this person trying to say? What is the message they're trying to get across? Could this be real? Could this not be real? Is there more to this? Is this a half truth, or is this the whole truth? Or are these just clickbaits? Think for yourself. And so, we're going to move into the topic. Now that you know where I stand, let's break down the actual narrative that's being pushed out there. Richard Eden, a name you probably know if you follow royal reporting, came out with this big, dramatic claim. He said there is a sinister establishment plot to undermine William and Catherine, supposedly to open the door for Harry and Meghan to come back into the royal fold. Sounds explosive, huh? A sinister plot in the establishment? All the buzzwords. And then he also said, and I refuse to be a part of it, and I'm going to expose it all. As if, Richard Eden, as if you are the biggest. Yeah, I'm not going to say it. Not yet, anyway. But if you look closer, Richard Eden offers no proof, no names, no documents, no verifiable sources, just the typical quote-unquote insiders and whispers. Huge flag for me. And again, it sounds explosive. So what happened? The headline went viral, or is going viral. Social media picked it up. People thrive on these kind of headlines. Royal watchers, royal commentators, royal fans, everybody picked this story up. YouTubers latched onto it. Even me. I was like, what? What's going on? You know? Bloggers repost them, and suddenly it becomes the story of the week, and Richard Eden is getting a beautiful sticker at the end of this week just because, wow, somebody made a good headline, so somebody deserves a sticker. That's it. And you see, the media is a battleground. For me, in my personal opinion, the media is a battleground. Because here's the bigger problem. The monarchy has become a battleground, not of swords, but of narratives. The palace wants stability. The monarchy survives on tradition, on continuity, on passing the crown from one generation to the next. But the press, the media, it survives on chaos. They survive and they thrive on chaos. Because, you know, can we just be honest for a second? Prince William and Catherine are boring to the media. And I mean that as a compliment, don't get me wrong. Their marriage is solid. Their kids are stable. Their causes are serious. They don't mess up. No mishap, no gaffes. They don't scandalize. They don't embarrass themselves or the institution they represent. And you know, to the media, that is a nightmare. Why? Why would you say that, Vespera? Well, simply because William and Catherine did a great job today does not sell newspapers. William and Catherine are happy and in love does not sell. Good narratives don't sell. We know that. William and Catherine opened a plaque or opened a hospital. That doesn't sell. William and Catherine appeared at this event and did this wonderful thing and addressed the public or the people in this perfect manner. That doesn't sell. That doesn't get clicks. But Charles at war with his son, Charles at war with his heir, Charles plotting against William, William planning on taking over sooner than we thought, those, they sell. They get clicks instantly. Whether it's right or wrong, whether it's true or false, it gets picked up. It gets picked up, no matter what. That headline, those kind of headlines, that's money being printed, you know? And so the press has to manufacture conflicts. They do. They take ordinary palace politics and spin them into grand conspiracies as if they know it all, as if they've studied the entire encyclopedia on how to be a monarch, how to this, how to that. No, my friend. They don't know nothing, but it is their job to create something out of nothing. That is how they get paid. If you can't create drama, you're not getting paid, period. That's plain and simple. So, because the truth is boring, scandal must be created in order to sell. Now, let's break down who's pushing these stories. First, you've got Richard Eden. Okay? He's the one who lit this fire with his columns. He talked about a sinister establishment plot against William and Catherine. Dramatic, right? But when you actually read it, because I read it so you don't have to, and I promise you, this is the truth and nothing but the truth, in my personal opinion. And if you want to read the article, go ahead and read it. When you actually read this article, there's nothing there. Because it sure sounds like he's going to expose something like a bombshell. Something true, something real, something, oh my God, really? No. No names, no documents, just whispers and sources. Just like everybody else. A private source told me. A palace insider said. Whispers. And again, I call that bullshit. If you can't name a source, then that means it's not real. Because it wouldn't stand in the court of law. Name your source, otherwise, case dismissed, you know. Then we also have Omid Scobie. Remember Omid Scobie? In his book, Endgame, he talked about a growing divide between Charles and William. He had claimed in his book that Kensington Palace suppresses rumors, shifts focus, plays the media game. Again, of course, it's always about dramatizing everything. But again, no hard proof, just anonymous courtiers and vague insiders. That's it. Now, Richard Fitzwilliams is a bit different. He doesn't push the plot, quote unquote. He doesn't push it as much, let's just say. He's more cautious with his words. Saying the royal U-turn for Harry and Meghan would be humiliating, that the damages is too great. He doesn't sound like Richard Eden or Omid Scobie. But still, he adds to the noise. He's like, let's not make it bigger than what it is. But, you know, that's Richard Fitzwilliams right there. Okay? And then there are the tabloids. The Sun, the Express, the Royal Observer. Week after week, they churn out stories about secret backdoors, returns, title battles, hidden tensions. It's a machine that never stops. Anonymous friends and palace insiders are their bread and butter. But have you ever noticed how none of them can reveal their sources? Oh, because they're meant to be secret. Well, gee, I just want to tell Prince William and King Charles, your palace is full of spies. Just like back in the days in the medieval time, there were spies everywhere. Well, there must be spies everywhere right now too. Because where are all these stories coming from? They don't make any sense. And of course, you also have Lady Colin Campbell, Lady C. She's unpredictable, this lady. Some days she dismisses the whole feud as nonsense. Other days she teases bombshells of her own, you know. She flips between debunker and drama creator. So, I follow Lady C and I follow all of these people that I name. But I don't follow them blindly. I follow them because I watch them, because I study them, because I pay attention to their videos. I don't just watch the newest video. When I subscribe to someone's channel, I like to go back into their history to watch their previous videos. And you'd be amazed if you do that. You'd be amazed if you're following a content creator right now and you go back to their videos, say about a year ago, even 6 months back, sometimes even just a few months back. You'd be amazed at how they switch their narratives depending on what the hot topic of the day is. It's all about clickbaits, I keep telling you. It's about clickbaits. You see, people like me who are trying to actually knock some sense into all of this, we don't get views. Look at my videos. I don't think that I get any views, not because my content isn't good, but my content is boring. My content doesn't spew rage. My content doesn't make people's blood boil. I don't have hot news gossips for people. I just have common sense that I want to share with others. And so go back into my video history. Look at my views. They're hideous. Even I laugh about it. Some days I cry about it because I'm like, damn, I work so hard on trying to put this together and I get 10 views, 20 views. But you know, I also understand the fact that I am not a sensational content creator where I would create things out of thin air with sources that don't exist, and yet I'm going to pretend they do. I don't know. I'm not about that. I'm about being real, being truth, being raw, but yet about being myself. I don't switch narratives just because everybody's switching theirs. That makes no sense. But yet I follow them. I subscribe to their channels. I watch their every move. I read their articles, their Substacks. I do all that. And why? Because that is how I can understand what is real and what is not. Don't pay so much attention to what they're saying. Pay more attention to what they're not saying. That's a little tip for you. Okay? And so if you follow all of these royal watchers, commentators, YouTubers, there's a pattern to be seen. And the pattern is build a drama, tear it down, then build it again. That's how the commentary industry works. It's the same cycle over and over and over. Now, let's get into the actual topic of the day. King Charles and Prince William, the Prince of Wales, heir to the throne. Why don't I believe Charles would sabotage William? Let me tell you why. And I say this with my gut feeling, okay? No private source, nothing, no insider tip. This is my personal gut. I don't buy this story of Charles plotting against William, because King Charles knows what it means to be an heir more than anyone alive. He knows. He has waited decades in the shadow of his mother's reign. He lived his whole life preparing for the crown. He understands the burden of duty, the weight of responsibility, the loneliness of being next in line, the void of it all, the void of having no one, yet having everything at your disposal, at your fingertip. And because of that, I do not believe he would ever sabotage his son. Why? Because the monarchy only survives if it passes smoothly to the next generation. If William thrives, the crown thrives. Charles knows this. Undermining William would mean undermining the very survival of the monarchy. And Charles is not that blind. Charles is smart. He's intelligent. The way he talks, the way he says things, the way he does things. This man is a philosopher at heart. He understands things that were back then pretty much, how would I say this? Like, I'm going to give you an example. Back then, when he was Prince Charles, he was talking about saving the environment and the planet and this and that. And everybody just laughed at him and be like, ha 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 ha, really, dude? Bro, sit down. Nah, there's nothing going on there. The planet is fine, bro. Sit down. But then yet today, look at all these initiatives around the world about saving the planet. Are people laughing today about how climate control is this and that? And even look, Prince William himself The Earthshot Prize. Why the Earthshot Prize? Because it's about saving the planet. And yet people are still laughing at it like, ha ha ha, you too, bro, sit down. There ain't nothing going on about the planet. Oh, yes, there is. Yes, there is. But that's just a little an example. Okay, let's not deviate too far. Again, undermining William would mean undermining the very survival of the monarchy, and Charles is not blind to this. He knows. Yes, King Charles has his flaws. Who doesn't? I do. I have tons of flaws. But anyway, yes, King Charles has his flaws. We all know his younger days weren't spotless. He's still living with the scars of the Diana era. But at the end of the day, this is his son. Okay? Parents know their children inside out. And Charles knows William. I have no doubt that he trusts him. He believes in him. He's devoted to his son, just as he's also devoted to Harry. And you know, let's be completely honest right now. Charles has cancer. He's not playing games. He doesn't have time to play games. He's not plotting power struggles. He's not looking for admirations in terms of perfect ratings. He's not 30 anymore. What he wants more than anything is peace in his twilight years, a smooth transition of power, a monarchy that outlives him the way it has outlived his mother. And if you go back and watch my previous video about the House of York, how I mentioned that King Charles is a transitional king, a transitional monarch. And what I meant by that is the fact that because the Queen's reign was so long and King Charles' reign in between or after her is going to be so much shorter than the future reign that will come after him when Prince William takes over. William is going to also have a longer reign because William is also younger. But we don't know what the future holds. Perhaps King Charles is going to live another 20 years and we don't know that. Because if anything, longevity of life runs in this family. Look at Prince Philip, who lived to be almost 100 years. Shy of a couple of months. The late Queen herself living to be in her 90s. So who knows? King Charles might very well live another 20 years. Or he might just live another year or months. We don't know. We don't know what tomorrow holds. And so that is precisely why my gut feeling is telling me if I had cancer, I don't have time to plot. I wouldn't want to plot anything. It's pointless. It's useless. You know? So again, use your critical thinking. Use common sense. Now, about Harry. Yes, Harry is still his son. And I believe Charles does not want to bring him in from the cold to a point. That doesn't mean putting him back on the balcony or making him a working royal again. That ship has sailed. I'm a believer in that. Because what Prince Harry has done publicly in terms of shaming his monarchy, his family, shaming his parent, shaming the Queen and her Commonwealth, you know, all that does not fly. I'm sorry. Because even next to Andrew, what Harry has done to the monarchy is worse than what Andrew has done. Because what Andrew has done with the whole Epstein and that's kind of like on a private matter between him and himself and his wife and Epstein. It just happens to be that because he is the son of the late queen, then it just makes it look bad. But what Harry's doing and what Harry has done is directly pointing finger and biting the very hand that fed him. You see, to me, that's worse. That's a whole lot worse to do. You never bite the hands that feed you. You don't bite the hands that brought you into this world. So, I'll leave it at that. Because as a father, you see, of course King Charles, wants some kind of reconciliation. That's his son. They're father and son. Of course he wants to make peace where he can, for however long he can, or forever whatever remaining time he has. That's also common sense. If you're a parent and your child does this to you, can you seriously in your heart of heart say, nope, even if you die tomorrow, I'm not going to look at you. Even if something happens to you tomorrow, I'm not even going to care for you. Just so that I get approval ratings? No, I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care if you're like me or you're dumb. You don't. This is my son. This is my blood. And even if it bit me as a parent, it is my job to continue to love him no matter what. And if you're a parent out there, you know what I'm talking about. It's also, again, common sense. But the whole idea of Charles undermining William, no. That's not real. That's total fantasy. That's a cooked up fantasy in a weird lab somewhere at the Daily Mail, or at the Sun or wherever else, the Daily Express or anything like that. Those are just cooked up stories that they're trying to sell you. And I hope in my heart of heart that you're not gullible enough to buy into this story and start, feeling all these sorts of regrets for supporting the king or the monarchy or anything like that. Because if you do run with this story and you gobble it up as if it's the gospel, then oh my God, I don't know what to tell you. But again, that's tabloids inventing a story, because the truth, a stable monarchy does not sell. That's it. Okay? And again, this is in a way what I really want to say to all the YouTubers out there, all the commentators, all the journalists who spend every single day tearing down King Charles, saying he's weak, saying he's bad for the monarchy, making fun of him for not having any balls, for being undecisive, for all of this, for not standing up, for bringing down the monarchy, for being pro-Islam, for being pro-Sharia law, for being the reason why the monarchy should not exist anymore, for the corruption of the country, everything, all of that. If the institution is this bad and this much, this rotten to the core, like what I hear people say, okay, fine. If you really believe that, and I mean it too, from the bottom of my heart, and I truly mean it, to all of these YouTubers out there who are wishy-washy, who flip narratives whenever it seems convenient, one day this, next day that, okay? If you really believe that, then stop dancing around it. Join the NotMyKing movement. Please do. Go ahead and abolish the monarchy altogether. Spare William. Spare George. If you think Charles is so terrible, then why keep the crown at all? Come on, let's not even wait for William to take over. Just get it over with. Do it. I dare you. I triple dare you. Go out there and start waving a yellow flag and put on a yellow t-shirt. and posted on social media saying that because King Charles is so bad today, he's not my king, I'm going to join the movement. Why would you even join? Why would you even continue to talk about the monarchy if you hate it that much? Again, just for clickbait, just for money, just for sale. You're not real. There's nothing about these people that's real. I'm sorry. Because here's the truth. When William becomes king, okay, when he becomes king, the same media circus will come for him. And they're going to come for him full force, full blown. If you think today that whatever's happening to King Charles is bad, wait until William takes over. He's going to be poked at left and right, front and center, up and down, from every corner, 360 degrees. And poor William is going to be completely bald by the time, I don't know, completely, he'll be bald. He'll be completely stressed out. Maybe even worse. Why worse? Well, why would they come full blown at him? Let me tell you why. Because William and Catherine are too perfect, too stable. They are too drama free. And drama, like I keep telling you, does not sell. The press will have to invent something. They'll dig for anything. Look at the whole story that grabbed attention and headlines. What was it, a year ago or a year or two ago? Start over a stupid tweet or funny comment about how Prince William was said to have an affair with, I don't know, Rose or something like that. I didn't even pay attention to that story, so I'm not even going to tell you anything about it because I'm not going to repeat something that's not real. But how William was supposedly having an affair with this woman. Come on, really? But yet, look, it sells. People grabbed onto it. Look at what they did to Catherine. Where's Kate? Where's Kate? Everybody, hashtag Kate, hashtag Kate. It turns out, poor lady had cancer. And they had to cave in and to give in to the media and the press and the people. And she had to come out and do a video to prove that, okay, I'm alive, I'm here, this and that. And yet, people are not satisfied. So you see, that's what I don't understand about the media, but that is what it is. They claim that the royal family is their national identity. They claim that the royal family is their greatest treasure or honor or this and that. They sing the national anthem like so proudly. God save the queen back in the days. God save the king now. It is your national anthem, but you keep poking at it as if it should be abolished. And you know what? Just abolish it once and for all. And let Sharia law take over and become puppets to the masters of Muhammad. Do that. Why? Why even bother singing the national anthem at this point? Get rid of it. You know? So that's why I keep saying, Catherine and William are too drama-free. And because they are so drama-free, the media will come at them even more relentlessly than they've been at King Charles. King Charles has already suffered a lifetime of tabloids and earthquakes and tsunamis. So he'll survive these last few waves, even if they're the hardest blows. But and even if they're the ones that are going to taint or overshadow his reign. Fine, let it be. It is what it is. That's the curse of being a monarch, I suppose. You know? But for Prince William and Catherine, oh, I tell you, people will dig anything they can. So my advice to all the flip-flopping commentators is this. Pick a lane. Don't praise Charles one day and destroy him the next just because it pays your bills. Okay? Don't call the monarchy sacred one moment and then feed the outrage machine the next. If you really hate it that much, just abolish it. Otherwise, stop cashing checks for the very thing you claim to despise. Shame on you. How ridiculous and how shameful it is to have such a huge platforms as you guys do have, and you guys are all spewing hate and debate and divisive comments. Some claim to be hardcore monarchists, hardcore royalists, but they don't even understand what the hell it is. They have no clue. And when I read their comments, when I watch their lives or their videos, I just sit back and I'm like, okay, I need a drink. Because these people are just full-blown dumb. But again, yet they have tons and tons of views, sometimes 2,000-3,000 views within 15 minutes. And then here I am, weeks later, days later, 10 views, 8 views, 100 views. Why? Because the truth does not sell. I keep telling you guys, truth does not sell. You gotta be shady. You gotta be corrupt in order to sell. And how ironic, isn't it? Because they're commenting about Meghan Markle. They're commenting about everything that she does that's corrupted and how she's double-faced, two-faced, this and that. But all these commenters are no different. I'll tell you that much. They're no different. All right. This brings me to the end of this commentary and this deep dive. And this is my take. Now, let me turn the question over to you. What about you? Do you think Charles and William are really divided? Is there really, really a feud between them? Or is this just some made up, cooked up fantasy turned fiction story that they're just trying to sell to us, the public, the people? And should we take it as at face value, or shall we question what people are saying out there? Okay, because if I have an advice for you, my friend, is the fact that do not ever allow someone to cloud your judgment. Do not ever allow someone to insult your intelligence, to insult your gut feeling, just so that they can get paid at the end of the day. They only care about you following them. That's it. Because if you're not following them, they're not getting paid. If you stop watching them, they're not getting paid. So, again, do not ever let someone insult your intelligence. Even me. If you have a mind of your own, and I hope you do, because I know you do, challenge me. Challenge my train of thoughts. Influence me to think the way you do. This is, like I keep saying, a battleground for conversations. We don't always have to agree on everything. We're here and we can have a civil conversation. We can agree to disagree the same way we can disagree to then agree. Okay? And this is how progress is made. And this is how I keep saying that we can move forward with better ways of thinking, better words in our mouth, a better feeling in our heart. The world is bad as it is already. Let's not add to it. Why add to it? Why create more chaos when chaos is plenty already? Look around. Our lives are filled with chaos. Again, look at the headlines on TV and everywhere. Podcasters, nobody talks about good stuff. Everybody's talking about bad stuff. And again, because the bad stuff sell. So, let me know what your thoughts are. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for being with me till the very end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want more of these deep dives. And remember, think for yourself. Don't let the headlines do the thinking for you. Until next time, stay thoughtful, stay curious, stay positive, and I'll see you soon. This is Vespera signing off.